Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here and welcome to a discussion video on Fallout 76. Obviously you can tell from the screen that that's going to be the topic. I think I want to call these videos on the radar, and they're basically videos that I plan to do in the dev blog format for EVE Online. So I'll talk about news that I find interesting when it comes to games. So Fallout 76 is the very first video that I'm trying in this format. For me, a game that is definitely on the radar. It was announced at E3 by Bethesda, and we can expect a Fallout game with co-op, multiplayer, possibly some PvP in there as well. So it sounded very interesting. I was actually really hyped when I saw what was announced at E3 at first, and I was even considering doing a pre-order in order to get into the beta. Now, in the last few weeks, of course, my hype has died down a little bit, and I'm basically at the moment in the region of Fallout 76. Well, I'm planning to play that at release, but for a pre-order, I think it's basically too early for that. We don't know enough about the game to make that decision, I think, even though at the moment it does give you beta access. When? We still don't know. So yeah, for me, Fallout 76 is very likely to be played at launch at this point, but definitely not on my pre-order radar. And I'm just going to keep an eye on any information that I can find about the game, and I can basically still be swayed either way. If it turns out that it's going to be an absolutely mind-blowing, amazing game that I need to play right away, I might still be tempted to pre-order. On the other hand, if I hear news or read information about the game that I really don't like, I might put it on the back burner and, for instance, consider it at a discount or something like that. So we'll see. We have to be very careful when it comes to hype. On the other hand, it's Bethesda. I'm a major Bethesda fanboy. I love Elder Scrolls, I love Fallout, and so I do look forward to Fallout 76 at this point. For this video, I thought I would go over the official reveal website. So if you want to follow this up, you can go to fallout.bethesda.net. Click through to the Fallout 76 official reveal. If we go through that, there are some interesting aspects of the game that I want to highlight. For instance, this part here. It'll launch on Xbox, PlayStation 4 and PC on November 14th, 2018. I absolutely love Bethesda for this way of working. Announce a game and give us a release date that is like less than a year away. At this point, it's always been around 6 months now. In the last couple of years, it's been like that for Skyrim, it's been like that for Fallout 4, and now it is this way for Fallout 76. This isn't keeping people on the hook, trying to keep people hyped for years on end. If you do it for too long a period, it's just never gonna work, and the game will almost always end up being a disappointment like this. Really great, and I do love Bethesda for doing that. You can also watch the trailer if you want. Gives you a bit of an idea on the graphics. Of course, it's trailer material, so it's all pushed to its very limits, but it looks pretty good. We get a nice soundtrack, and so here, if you liked Fallout 4, I think you will like Fallout 76 as well. The synopsis of the story: multiplayer finally comes to the epic open world RPG of Bethesda Game Studios. Create your character with a special system and forge your own path in a new and untamed wasteland with hundreds of locations. Whether you journey alone or with friends, a new and unique Fallout adventure awaits you. We'll get new graphics as well, but look at the engine. It's basically the Fallout 4 engine, and on that front, I must say, having played Fallout 4, it is a hog for resources in my experience. I've been playing Fallout 4 with my GTX 980, and well, I basically never felt confident playing the game and recording on the same PC. I always felt like the PC was lagging behind because of that I was having performance issues, and so pushing that engine to its maximum, it's nice. You always see what technology can do, but it's not going to be for everyone. And I personally don't think that that's the focus of any Bethesda experience for me either. I don't really care about graphics that much. I mean, they're functional, and I would rather Bethesda focus on keeping bugs out of their games rather than giving us the very latest in graphics. And well, I think that they've been doing a much better job in the latest games as well, despite the fact that there are always bugs in Bethesda games. Fallout 4 and Skyrim, to me, have been really nice experiences. I'm coming from the Morrowind games days, and that was something completely different. But yeah, graphics wise, I mean, they're doubting this here a little bit. I just don't think that it is all that important in Fallout 76. What is a bit more interesting is this new construction and assembly mobile platform, the C.A.M.P, which is going to be the item that allow you to build and craft anywhere in the world. Your C.A.M.P will provide much needed shelter, supplies and safety. You can even set up shop to trade goods with other survivors, but beware, not everyone will be quite so neighborly. So that sounds a little bit like you'll have sort of an item or a beacon. You'll put that down anywhere in the world, and then you'll have an area within which you'll be able to build however you want. Very interesting. I also suspect that you'll just be able to push a button and put that C.A.M.P back in your back pocket, move to another location, and then either start building a new C.A.M.P or take one of the old templates out of your C.A.M.P system. I think that's what they want to do. At least that's the vibe that I got from all the information I've been able to gather so far. Very interesting system. I kind of like it, and I can definitely see how this can allow you to basically have a safe inventory, because the biggest complaint that I've been seeing around is of course the PvP aspect, that not everyone will be quite so neighborly. I mean, it's great that you'll be able to trade with players, but it does sound like other players might just come in and kill you. Will piracy and banditism be an option? Honestly, I don't think it is. Everything that I've been hearing about so far is that the survival aspect and the PvP aspect of the game will be quite light. Death is never supposed to be something that's going to punish you or set you back in resources or anything like that. So to me, all of this does sound like a lot of people that are worried about the PvP and already complaining about the PvP, despite the fact that we know next to nothing about it, are overreacting a little bit. I think that Bethesda has hinted quite often enough that their design decisions when it comes to that aspect of the game is to really not make that interfere with people that want to play solo, that just want to do their own thing or anything like that. Another part from the E3 announcement that definitely got people worried in that direction as well is the power of Adam. So go it alone or with fellow survivors to unlock access to the ultimate weapon, nuclear missiles. The way it was shown at the conference is of course that you can press a button and nuke someone's base of operations. Well, turns out that they've been backpedaling on that a little bit when questioned about the nuclear missiles. Apparently, from what I've been hearing and reading in the last couple of days, the idea would be that if you launch a nuke in the direction of a player where they've set up their camp, that player will get like a 5-minute cooldown, a warning that they can just back up, leave the area, because the real goal for the nuclear missile is to create high-level zones with rare and valuable resources. And so the idea is not to have a sort of a ganking or griefing weapon through these nuclear missiles, but rather a way to create the high-level zones that'll get you the more rare resources and items potentially. So that sounds like an interesting design, and I do think that the idea behind Fallout 76 is cooperation, sandbox, gather, build up your own little town, your own little outpost, things like that. Trade with players as well when it comes to the gear that you want, but the PvP will be maybe a bit more of an afterthought. It will be there, of course, and we all know how creative players can be with the tools that they are given. So no doubt about it, players will set up elaborate traps. We'll have some awesome gangs and some awesome stories to tell in that department as well. But I personally would not worry about the game becoming absolutely an unenjoyable or unplayable experience because of PvP, because of griefing or anything like that. That's definitely not the aim of the game. Finally, there will be a beta as well, as I've said early on in the video. Pre-order and get access to the Fallout 76 beta. Is this a bit of a scummy tactic to try and get people to buy a game they don't know anything about? Maybe. On the other hand, this is Bethesda and this is the Fallout IP. I personally have confidence in Bethesda and I wouldn't blame you for pre-ordering the game. And I can also see a really good reason for Bethesda to actually do this time. Of course, Fallout 76 will be online. They'll need servers for that. And that does mean that they'll want at least an indication of how many people will want the game at launch. And well, pre-ordering, giving access to beta through those pre-orders is of course a very nice way to set up a sort of an early barometer for the game itself and all the infrastructure that they'll need for that. So in this case, I'm not personally pre-ordering, but I can definitely understand why this added incentive is put there by Bethesda. So yeah, Fallout 76, to me, it's on the radar. I think it sounds very promising. I personally look forward to playing the game with my brother and just to see and experience what it's all about. As I've said, I plan at this point to play the game at launch, and I would love to get your feedback as well. Do you guys have any thoughts on Fallout 76? Do you plan to play the game, or do you see some real problems with it? Feel free to put that in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.